I just want to have her follow me around. Just singing to me. Desiree was one of the first people I met when I moved to California. Literally, one of the first people I met. And one of the first days we spent together, we did lifts from musical theater stuff that I had done together. And Bill Engelhardt, who is the minister up in Marin, told me not to break his music director. And I have tried to hold true to that all this time. So I'm so delighted to have her here today.
Thank you.
So I need a volunteer. Okay, so this week it goes to Sharon. There you go. There you go. And she needs to finish her half of the bottle. So next time, someone suggested we do it as a fundraiser. We need an auctioneer. All right, I got 20 over here, I got 40 here, 50. So, welcome. Today's, that's an interesting slide.
This is the right slide.
Okay, that's fine. So, actually, you can black out the screen with your clicker. Just on a black screen. Today is called What's on Your Mind? And there's an opportunity for me to answer your questions. To answer your questions about spirituality, about what's going on with you, how the rubber meets the road in your life. How are you applying these principles we talk about on Sunday in your everyday life? It's great to come here and it's wonderful to study them and read them, but the practical day-to-day application sometimes can be more complicated than one would think. It's simple, these principles, but not easy. Right? They are clear and precise, but life isn't clear and precise and linear. Life is anything but that. So how do we all live in that space? So to be clear about what I'm going to do today is I will take your questions. And in fact, Joel, if you could act as microphone person so everybody could see the questions. And I will answer any theological, any spiritual, any practical aspect questions of how to apply this. What I won't answer is any questions about what we do here in the business end of church and the practicalities of the building. If you have questions like that, I'm glad to take them. I'm glad to talk to you about them. That part is really essential to who we are and what we do. We couldn't exist without the physical structure and the underlying structure of the organization, but that's for a town hall meeting. It's not for the Sunday service. Okay, so we're clear about that. And the first thing we're going to do, as we do with everything, is to pray. Right? So I invite you to get settled. And I'm doing this for me, quite frankly, so I'm prepared to answer these questions. And my favorite line, too, is that I promise to respond, not necessarily to give you an answer. The answers we know come from within. Where the questions come from. So we go to that inner place, and we go within with a deep breath. We seek to open our hearts and minds to become aware. To become aware of what is up for us. What is it that we're seeking to understand? What is it that we need to know on a larger level or on a deeper? In this moment and in this breath. We feel the connection to wisdom and to the infinite. We know that if the question is arising in us, there is probably 1, 2, or 10 people in this room who share the same question. And that our willingness to give voice to it is a blessing to everyone. So for this time together in prayer and in communion, we are truly grateful. And together we all say, Amen. Rock, would you do us a favor and turn on the fans? Sure. I'm just very aware that I'm roasting up here. Oh, there's the lights. Thanks. So, who has the first question? Marty's hand was up first.
What goes around comes around. How does Unity Respond, explain, connect to that?
So, I usually hear, so I'll answer for myself, right? What goes around comes around to me is usually used as a negative. You know, it's usually used as a, well, what goes around comes around, they're going to get what's coming to them. And it's almost a passive-aggressive spirituality, right? Oh, they'll get what's coming to them. But there's a deeper level to it too, right? What goes around comes around means that there is instant karma in this world. That I do believe in karma, and Unity teaches it as the law of mind action. It's our third principle. The thoughts we think is usually how it's described, but for myself, it has a deeper meaning. It's the things I believe, not just thoughts that cross my mind, but things that cross my mind habitually create, right? They become beliefs, they become entrenched, sometimes described as a rut, right? We keep thinking the same thought over and over again until it becomes a belief. And when it becomes a belief, then we start acting in behaviors that support that belief. You know, I'll give you an example. So if I believe that life is hard, I will face everything expecting it to be a challenge. I will come across any interaction with a work coworker or a family member expecting the worst and expecting it to be difficult. And the second someone says anything to me, I'm already defensive. I'm already attacking. I'm already defending my position. And then I will find a hard interaction. I will find a difficult situation. So in that case, what goes around comes around is absolutely true. My thinking, my belief, my behavior has created a situation where I am creating tension, where I am creating the hardship, and it then becomes proof of my belief. And it becomes this incredibly difficult loop, right? I believe life is hard, so I respond to life from an aggressive and defensive point of view. And then I find situations and examples that make that so true for me that it reinforces my belief that life is hard. So what goes around comes around.
Sort of a self-fulfilling.
It's self-fulfilling prophecy and a self-facilitating manifestation. But here's the amazing, great part of that for me, is that the second I become aware of it, I get to stop it. I get to get off the wheel of misery, that little merry-go-round, but you're not going anywhere, you're just going around in a circle, and just observe. Just observe. Look at this. Look how I think things are going to go. Look how my mind is programmed by society and by myself to believe the worst is about to happen. And that is not going to work out. And that life is hard. So that's how I interpret what goes around, come around. There's the two, but if you look at it just personally, if you look at it at your own consciousness, you are creating the situation in front of you. Yeah. Because be clear that there's not any what we call metaphysical malpractice in this. Right? Life will present you situations that are incredibly difficult. Not saying that it won't. Diagnoses, death, job loss, all of those things are difficult to manage sometimes. But it's not inside their nature, right? Job loss absolutely can be an opportunity, right? It just depends on how you look at it. You know, death and a disease I've sat with many people, and my own life experience, I have sat with a diagnosis and known it was not my identity, and used that diagnosis to take myself to the next level of who I'm supposed to be. I mean, if I had listened to the doctors in 1989, I wouldn't be standing here, so I know that. And at the same time, people do lose their lives, their mortal lives, here because of some diagnoses and because of some diseases. Ones we love very dearly. I know there's not anyone in this room who hasn't experienced that. Period. We can't be on this planet and not experience that. And I don't want to tell you that that's all good. It sucks. Yeah. And at the same time, there has been a blessing because you've been so touched and you have loved someone so much. You have opened your heart to that person, that experience, and it goes on with you. Okay? Let's breathe. Gwen in the back, and then we have questions over here too. Okay, Gwen, hi.
Hi. So, I have a situation with a relationship right now that's changing. And one of the things that I've learned at Unity is being able to step back and see where my story comes in around whatever's happening. So I acknowledge that, I can see it, I can say it, but at the same time, it still hurts and it feels yucky. So how do you get through that? I mean, so I've got that first step down, I got it, but why does it still hurt so much?
Because you love so much.
Well, that's not the answer.
Okay, so wait, maybe this is the answer. Does anybody else identify with that? If you do, raise your hand, right? Right? Oh my God. Well, yeah, and so first off, I would say to you, and to say to everybody, acknowledge your pain. Wow, the greatest gift you can give yourself is to really sit with your real human experience. Right? You're in pain, right? Is that true? I'm not putting words in your mouth. You're in pain.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I haven't felt this for a long time, and then the pain brings up past situations that are similar. So
good for you! Oh, good! So all the old crap is coming up. Oh, excuse me, I'm being really irreverent today. But that's the truth, right? It's all the old stuff. Oh, wow. Oh, honey. Oh, look how much you've been carrying. It's right there below the surface, right? So this one relationship has allowed all that to bubble up. Wow, what a gift this person is giving you. What an absolute gift this shift, this change is to your life, because it just has been sitting, that relationship has been sitting on top of all this other bubbling stuff going, no, nobody loves me, nobody loves me, nobody loves me, nobody loves me, so they all leave me, they all leave me, they all leave me, right? Yes. That's, again, the wheel of misery. Oh my God, I'm going to die alone, I'm going to die alone, I'm going to die alone. Those habitual, crazy thoughts, right, that aren't based in present reality, but historical reality, right? One of my friends, when I was going through a breakup over a dozen years ago, and I was nuts. I was absolutely nuts, so, right? Sitting in therapy 3 times a week. It was that kind of crazy. And my therapist was like cheering me. But one of my friends called and said, oh, honey, if it's hysterical, it's historical. She was a good Southern lady from North Carolina. She said, if it's hysterical, it's historical. And there's something really deep in it for you, to be able to bring up. And I realized I had equated this relationship I was in with my father, with my lover who had died, right? With all those abandonments and rejections, right? And I had mix them in my mind. And I sat there in therapy, I would literally call the current relationship by somebody else's name. Right? And you're going, oh, that's our human experience. That's our humanness. And I don't have to describe this. There's therapists sitting in this audience who can describe this experience better. But spiritually, what we get to do by doing this is be our own observer. Right? Spiritually, we get to observe how we're behaving and to give ourselves the same compassion we give to our best friends. Right? When this happens, to be able to take care of ourselves and to see that wounded little girl, right? That's walking around still mad.
And then I say things that I wish I hadn't have said.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I was a nice person.
So, you are? Does everybody hear that?
Yes.
Right? Which one of us has not done something that we'd like to take back? Have you ever done anything? Yeah. Has anyone ever done, never done anything? I'll put it this way. Have you never done anything you needed to take back? Or apologize for? Or make amends for? Yeah. So you are a nice person. You are. And stuff has happened to you. I think for myself, this again gets metaphysical malpractice. We think that if we get to be spiritual, if we come here and we understand that we are Christ, we are divine, that we're never going to do anything that is unlike that. But I mean, here, Gwen, this will really turn your boat upside down. Jesus.
Jesus again.
Jesus went into the temple and turned over the tables according to Scripture. He went in and had a hissy fit and called them all hypocrites and liars and cheaters and that they were soiling the space. He called people hypocrites to their face. He wasn't always a nice guy. It got him crucified, but... And that is...
I feel better now.
That is what we talk about, though, is that it's our own thoughts of thinking someone else is wrong and bad and evil that puts us up on the cross. That makes us in pain. And I hear you saying it. You're describing the pain you're in, even because you lashed out in pain. And there, it goes around again and around again. So can you say, I'm a nice person? Can we all say it? I'm a nice person. I'm a nice person. Yeah. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human one. You're having a human experience. Good for you. Congratulations. Thanks. Next question. I'll let Joel pick. Darlene or somebody. Or Ken. Okay, Ken. Hi.
Okay, two of the main things I heard this morning from Unity teaching through the music and everything was we are divine, straight from Colossians, and that we believe that we manifest our own, that our mind manifests reality for us in some way or another. What gives us confidence that either or both of those are actually true? Because there's a lot of belief systems out there, and a lot of people do not believe either one of those and are also on a spiritual path. There's lots of Christians that do not believe we are divine, let alone believe that we create our own reality, let alone all the other countless belief systems out there that are non-Christian that also do not believe in either one of those things. So you can either speak from your own personal self, how you came to embrace those two platforms as true for you, or you can speak in a more general term of how we might come to have greater confidence that those are actually true.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ken. Great question. And so Unity is in this family of religions called New Thought. And they generally started with Mary Baker Eddy in Christian Science in the 1860s. And it was Mary Baker Eddy's own mystical interpretation of Scripture, her understanding of her own healing. And then we also merged that with the Transcendentalist movement with Emerson and Thoreau, and a lot of those teachers, and then came together with the Fillmores, Charles and Myrtle, who are Unity's co-founders. I came up with this understanding, and then Ernest Holmes for religious science, and many other teachers. I'm grossly oversimplifying the whole process, okay? But that said, and it's called New Thought, and it's been around for 150 years. But New Thought is based on old teachings. In early Christianity, there were many branches of what it was to be Christian. There were many gospels that never made it into what we call the Bible today. And the Bible was never written to be one book. It was all written by individual people. Sometimes the very words that you see on the same page in the same paragraph are written by 2 or 3 different people, and somewhere down the line they all got spliced together. So yes, there are many strands. But in my study, in my experience of these teachings, I found a thread from early spirituality, from early Christianity, from Buddhism, from Hinduism, from all major world religions that talks about the spark of the divine, that talks about that true nature of the indwelling God. Our Buddha nature, our Christ nature, our Krishna nature. What I am so captivated by in the Unity teaching and the Unity understanding of it is that it is not something outside of us, deeming it from on high, either giving us or withholding our good. The only thing that is keeping us from experiencing heaven on earth right now is our own thinking and our own consciousness. And that, for me, was the kicker. Because I couldn't conceive an idea of a God, one power, a deity, a energy, a system, whatever you want to call it, the one power, that would withhold good from my daughter, anyone's child, or do anything to curse me. But rather a power that is constantly here providing all that we need, constantly here enabling life, enabling everything to go forward. And for me, as I sat in meditation and I tore open all the scriptures and read all the writings I could devour, that made the most sense to me. That if there is a God, and I do believe there is, whatever you want to call it, that one power and one presence is providing me right now everything to have a magnificent life. And when I align myself with that one, that my life works the best. And the more I practice, and the more I do it, and the more I pray, and the more I meditate, and the more I come to classes and write and teach and learn, the more that becomes true for me. And I watch it in my life. I mean, wow! Since I embraced this teaching 12 years ago, fully embraced it, like stopped pretending like I was just sitting in the back row, you know? And I jumped in and said, okay, I give up. The way I've been trying to do my life, the way I've been trying to manage it, the way I've been trying to control it, obviously isn't working. And I dove into these teachings and this practice of daily living. My life is exponentially better. So for me, I know it's true. I know that when I affirm I'm a parent, it manifests. I know when I affirm I am abundantly blessed, that I am abundance itself. It manifests. I bought a Picasso last night. A print. A lithograph, but a signed Picasso last night. Right? Yeah. A limited edition signed Picasso print. They're very rare, and I got a beautiful color one as an anniversary gift last night. It's like, wow. All things are possible. You know, what I think works best about unity, and the thing that works the worst about unity, is that you have to decide this for yourself. That you have to jump in, and you have to understand it, and you have to wrestle with it, and you have to come to the conclusion I've just described, or you're not really here. Right? And it might take, like it took me. I first walked into a Unity church in 1989, and it wasn't until 2003 that I made that commitment. But that's my journey. Yours can be, you can walk in here the first day and make that commitment and know it. But that's what it takes to be a Unity member. It's not something that is just, okay, this is what somebody tells me is true, and therefore that's what it is. To be a Unity member, you have to know, and you get to know this on a cellular level and watch the demonstrations in your life. So, yeah, it's amazing, and it is a commitment. Okay, thanks.
Karen.
Okay, we'll do this one.
Okay.
And then we'll do one over here, and then we'll have a salon after for more.
Well, you and I have had discussions many times about different things, and this one is, stuff is getting in my way, and as you know, that I feel that words are very powerful and they have energy. So what's making me roll my eyes occasionally when I hear this phrase, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. And for me, what's almost a visceral reaction to that is, well, that means if you're so blessed, some Santa Claus God is giving you extra gifts. And I have discussions about people with that. And that's their belief system. But I'm very confused why we say that all the time. To your point you just mentioned during your last, you mentioning the hymn, that means that you have a something, energy, God, anything is bestowing gifts on you. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. You know, what does that mean, and why do we use it all the time? Why don't you just say, I'm so grateful, whatever comes my way? Why is blessings something that we use all the time when that connotation is, you're special, you're better, you get extra gifts from God, from somebody else?
So what I hear in the question, so help me understand this, is that you're hearing when I say I am so blessed that someone else isn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we saying I am so blessed, you hear it as a comparison to the Joe Schmo.
What are you blessed about that someone else isn't?
Well, I don't hear that someone else isn't. So that's where I hear a disconnect between us. When I say I am so blessed, I am personally owning the magnificence that is available for everyone. But I am personalizing it to myself because I know that in my own conscious awareness of it, that it multiplies. But my understanding and what I was trying to describe a minute ago is that if there is a God, or if there is spirit, whatever language you want to use for that, or if there's just an energy force that is sustaining all of this, that it is giving the same blessing, and it is the same blessing to everyone. I am so blessed is my stepping into that awareness. It's just stepping into that there is nothing against me. There is only things for me. And that's my understanding of that.
So many people use it, I am so blessed with these extra gifts. They say it when something good happens to them. So that's not what we're talking about here in Unity. When everyone says, oh, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed for all these gifts that have been given to me.
Well, Gwen just said I'm in pain. And I said, congratulations.
Yeah.
You're so blessed to be in such pain. What a gift that pain is coming up for you to be released. Ah, what a blessing. That's how I see it.
Yeah, why wouldn't we say, I am so grateful?
Well, we do in the same song. And I agree with you. And I agree with you. A lot, even the New Thought music we sing, language keeps us separate. The second I say the second I say my daughter, like it's my possession, she's not my possession. She's an incredible gift of life itself that I get to shepherd, to care for, to bless. So I get to bless her and do. So, but the language itself separates us. You, I, you.
Yeah.
We're already in a dualistic. Everything we talk about when we start using words is dualistic. Right? So I am so blessed. So I just offer to you that I don't think that there's a deity, an energy, a spirit that withholds anything from anyone. From murderers, from Hitler, from the worst beings on the planet you can imagine are blessed. The people who are murdered are blessed beings. That's really hard, but it's also really true for me. Yeah, you too. Right.
Because I don't
So-
believe in a Santa Claus God. I
Right.
don't believe that at all.
Okay.
So
Don't
all
you?
are blessed, all the time.
All the
With
time.
all, with everything. So I
Absolutely.
am grateful for that.
All right, so when something bad happens to you, and you're like,
I'm still grateful for it. It's
Right.
like, we don't classify it as a blessing.
why not?
We do.
Well, okay, well, my conversations with my friend, we're very unique here.
No. It's like, okay, so I get it, and yeah, I like the tune.
I just want to say one thing. and it
As
is-
a songwriter, here,
As a
jump
songwriter and
in.
lyricist.
Use your mic. Use your mic.
Yes, I'll use my mic. Words can be very powerful, but they really only have the power that we give them, right? So we assign different power to different words, and they mean different things. And so that word blessing really means something different to you. To me, I learned early on the 23rd Psalm, or no, all the Beatitudes. Instead of blessed is it was always, oh, the bliss of the one.
Yes.
Oh, the bliss of the one. So for me, blessing is the bliss, the happiness. I'm so happy that this has come into my life. You know, it's something I can work on. It gives me that education. Or how joyful that I am to acknowledge the good that is.
Right, in the Gospel of Thomas, we had a Sunday talk about this one time, and I know Gwen was here for it because it's our joke now. In the Gospel of Thomas, the Beatitudes, blessed are translated as congratulations to you when you are poor. Congratulations to you when people revile you and say all manner of evil against you falsely. Congratulations. So blessed is congratulations. So there's another translation, and it could be really interesting to look at the original language in a lot of it, what the original Greek or Aramaic word means. We've used it as blessed, but it could mean something completely different. We have time for one more, and then we're going to go on. Someone has one last question. Gene.
Okay, my question has always been, and still is, and it keeps coming. When we first come, one day, 1 hour, we can't speak a word for about a year. So our hearts are ready. And at a certain point, we stop and we wind up here to try to get back to where we already were. When we first come, we don't need anything. We have everything. Everything, particularly from a spiritual perspective. And by the time the one who loved them most finished with them, they're going to try to be like a child again. So my question is, I wonder what keeps us, and I don't know if we can answer it, from continuing to live speaking to hearts as opposed to languages which are just as divisive as races, as cultures. So just a question of why, here it is right here, the truth. All she picks up is energy. And it's going to be obvious from their moms first, because they get it when the spark hits. But getting back to my question, there it is right there. It keeps coming. We keep coming. and we keep having to go back and redo this. And to be like a child, as the prophet Jesus would say, peace be upon him. And that means to be like that. Don't just to be, say, love me, look at me, touch me, comfort me, feed me. The ones who love him most are the first one to say, you can't eat that. Don't touch my stuff. You can't love them. And we spend the rest of our languages, I'm saying. Because I live in language, but I know the truth that they only understand hearts. So why do we keep going back and continuing that process? Why aren't we brave enough to live with speaking the heart? Like I think the Buddha said, if we all be quiet, we won't have no problems.
Yes, yes, and Jack Kornfield, right, in his book, wrote about going away to the ashram and sitting in meditation for 10 years and sitting in total bliss and sitting in the perfection that is, and then came back home and met his family and found himself in the same conflicts, in the same trauma, in the same hostility in his own heart, not just in theirs. That we do that time in meditation to remember the joy of pureness, and then to practice, like I talked about earlier, of bringing it into the world, of being in relationship with someone who doesn't agree with anything you say, and to still love them. To be with someone who is, by all appearances, determined to destroy you, and to be there as holy and purely as spirit as you possibly can. And that is the practice we all do. So let's take that to meditation. Let's take this into a deeper place. I'm amazed by how fast this goes when I start on these. And we'll see where our own hearts and the answers that have come up and the questions that have come up from us. And we are going to sing that song, darling. That's what we had planned. So I invite you to substitute the word if it doesn't work for you, or to hear it differently. Ideas and concepts and words, and that we have a meeting of minds and a place where the two meet, like the sea and the shore, is the place of interaction and change. That chemicalization that happens when the wave pounds upon the shore enables life itself to happen. The froth, the tidal ponds, or where we have all come from. So where our practice meets our consciousness, where our words meet our understanding, is the place of life itself. This is where we can be transformed. This is where we can be the agents of change for the world. So for each and every question, we are grateful. For each and every disagreement, concern, desire for change, we are blessed, grateful, we are happy. This is the place of our own unfoldment. We let go all the things that keep us contained. We let go of all the things that keep us from experiencing life. And together we feel bliss. Together we know love. Together we sit in silence. I am Christ. I am whole. I am divine. Little by little, step by step, prayer by prayer, I step further and further into that understanding, to that consciousness of knowing that there is nothing against me, but everything for me. Everything that has happened in my life, everything that is happening right now is for my own fulfillment, my own glory, and glory of everyone on earth. And so it is.
I